you doing? Oh.
We discovered fish in the channel.
Yeah, really, hey?
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, you got some? Yeah. What did he do?
They're just not good.
Oh, there's a...
Nah, leave it alone. You see any up there?
No. Yeah, I wasn't looking very much today, but I was just not just keep a lookout for bear.
Well, yeah, because I know when I was down I was out at Middlegate yesterday.
Yeah.
And I came down and we come down and then we went back. And right down along the channel, he discovered there was fish in the channel.
Oh.
And so I'm thinking, no, we're not going to the channel now, and if we are, you're on a leash.
Wow.
Because my luck, he'll be in there
It's like a
tromping
bear.
around in the fish, and
Yeah.
then somebody's going to come along and say, get mad, right?
Yeah.
So I said, no, he can't go in there. But there was usually I meet a lady coming down from the other end sometimes with two lads. And she was in the creek washing her shoe. I said, what are you doing? She goes, I just kicked a bunch of bear shit off the trail.
Oh.
I said, yeah. I said, they would be here now because of the fish, right?
Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
good
So,
place. Yeah. Yeah, I saw a couple up there last time when I was down here.
yeah.
They're good natured creatures, but I felt like they should have the space more than they should. Get their feeding going on.
Well, yeah. I mean, they are usually more active first thing in the morning and then at the end of the day. Right?
Thank you. That is a useful. Thank you for that. I got to keep that in mind.
Usually.
Yeah, no, I've got you. That's a good little general rule of thumb. Yeah. You never know for sure. Yeah.
No, you don't. But usually
But if someone's examined their behavior, they'd be able to tell that, right? Like just like humans, but there's a lot of humans that are more active in the.
Well, the thing is too. I mean, there's so many of us
So many of us.
here during the day.
Oh yeah.
They just go off,
Yeah.
right? Wait for us to disappear,
Yeah.
then they come back out again. It's.
Sure.
I mean,
This area though is not so frequented, is it?
no, because there's now. I know when you get up to the top, if you go right up, if you go over the bridge, over the river, there's a trail that goes up to the right.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people walk that way. Now, I don't know where it goes,
Yeah. Okay.
but I know on the power lines up on way up, they say there's a herd of elk in there, right? Now,
really?
if you go down there, you know where the parking lot is?
Actually, I haven't been very far down there.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you start walking towards the hatchery,
Okay.
if you go down there, it's when you walk down there, you'll see the river trail, then you'll see the channel trail, and if you keep going, just past the channel trail, there's an opening that goes to your right,
Yeah, you have to go down there.
right where this creek comes out,
Yeah.
actually. And then there's, I was in there last year with him, and I took a picture of it, but there was some beds of water kind of muddy, and the hook,
Wow.
yeah, huge, right?
I vaguely wondered if there were some other large creatures. I don't know.
There's a bit of, I don't know how many it is.
That would be something I've never seen on this thing. Yeah. I mean, that'd be. I don't want to disturb them, but absolutely.
No, you don't want to come face to face with an elk.
So that's different than a bear. Well, no, that's another thing. I'm a little bit ignorant on the subject. I think about, I don't feel fear. They should. Yeah. They're a big animal.
A bear will go away.
Yeah. So that's thank you for that, because this is what you kind of take for granted, your own ignorance.
Exactly. No, an elk will charge.
Okay, so I don't want to go there. But if I saw one at a distance by chance, I would have move
No,
away.
I mean, you know what? If we saw one over by the tower,
Yeah.
you're probably fine.
Yeah, don't go near them.
But yeah, it's just, especially if there's the buck and the doe, right? Because then they will protect.
I've never seen that.
I know. One day I was in the bush, and I come out of the bush into a clearing like this, right? A clearing. We weren't quite there, and I saw this buck, like a deer. I saw this buck and the doe dancing across the meadow, right? So anyway, I stopped.
Yeah.
My dog stopped. And looking at my dog, and I'm standing behind behind a tree, and I'm kind of just looking around the corner at the buck. And I'm thinking to myself, where's the doe? Can't see the doe. I don't know where the doe went. And all of a sudden, the buck lowered his head, and the doe was standing right behind him, like this. So when the buck lowered his head, you could see the doe.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, Whoa was right.
Yeah.
And so I just stepped out from behind the tree because he was going to charge the dog.
Oh.
Right? And I just as soon as I stepped out from the
got
tree,
your own
his
trick.
head come up and he just trotted off. But you know, yeah, they'll come and get you.
So that situation kind of creeps up on you, like reading a story and be like, whoa, where's this going?
Well, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know until. Yeah.
You don't know what these guys are. You don't,
That's
you
the thing.
don't,
It's like you have to. You get experience, I guess, with animals, as anyone does, and then
the more time you spend
like, you
out
may
with
not
them.
have a chance to make a mistake at some point. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well,
Not you, but
some
people,
days, yeah. You know, it depends on the animal.
Yeah, that's the thing about
You know,
like.
usually if you
Yeah.
come across a bear, you know, and when people say to me, "Well, I saw a cougar," I'm thinking not unless you were walking backwards,
Yeah, yeah,
because they're behind you.
yeah. Right.
Like they're not up here.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, I gotta put a little more in before I
Yeah,
take
sure, of
him
course.
home.
Yeah, great. Good to see you guys. Yeah,
Hey, stay dry.
yeah it's gonna happen, eh?
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
It did this morning.
Okay, right on. See ya. So he's a neat guy to talk to. I liked what he said. He's got to put a few more on. He's walking down there and with his dog. He's like, because he's healthy, so he's like me. He has the kind of ethic or physical thing he wants to get done each day. And he asked me, did I look in the stream? And I didn't even look at it. I didn't look in the stream. So he's looking for fish. He's got a good deal more knowledge than I do, I think, probably of the environment. But I'm a little absent-minded because I've got other things on my mind. But yeah, telling me a lot about animals. He said that upwards where I've walked up there, I didn't tell him I walked up there, but he said there's a herd of elk up there. So I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to try that one day. And that's nice. Oh, and so it's cool. Yeah, he's him and his dog are really cool. I liked him talking about trancing in the forest, and they came up to a clearing. He told me this cool story, and he said he saw a male and a female deer, like a buck and a doe. So this is helping me learn like the names as well, the buck and doe, the buck had horns. And he said he went behind a tree, and his dog was facing off with the buck, it seemed. And he didn't quite understand what was going on, and the buck lowered his head, and the doe was right behind him. So it's like, oh, I see. And how much to take, just to extrapolate from that, or draw upon it a bit, not to extrapolate, maybe correlate that in a sense with human behavior, and this idea that when humans are aroused at all by anyone, or, I've been, shopping places where young girls become aroused by me. In any sense. I'm using a very loose sense. I'm not saying they're all loose. I'm just saying aroused. Aroused in general, like anybody who's even remotely aware that somebody's attractive or anything, which I'm guessing a lot of people interact with a lot of attractive people every day. And I don't, but let's say that's a thing. And if a young girl gets aroused by me, and there's an older, less attractive female who doesn't have that same yin energy anymore, but see, the thing is, I don't believe that women have to get yin deficient as they get older, or yin excessive, which is basically the same thing. It's the same thing with the amygdala. Like, if your amygdala is too big or if it's too small, you become like a psycho. It's just harder to appreciate human body language. It either escapes you, or it takes a hell of a lot of signals before you get the idea that somebody's uncomfortable. Like I think of women who I've said, hey, I'm uncomfortable, and they don't, police officers, I'm uncomfortable with this. They don't hear you say that because their amygdala isn't really the right size. It's like a bullseye. It has to be the right shape, the right development. And that all comes from how you're treated as a child going back to the womb. Basically, how many biologically insupportable, if biologically supportable, because it doesn't kill you, and whatever doesn't kill you apparently makes you stronger, or it turns you into a psychopath, right? And so there hasn't been enough music to let that amygdala find the sweet spot, along with other parts of your body to deal with and mitigate fear, anger, strong emotions, and body language. Like how to deal with the fact that someone could talk to you and be saying something, and you can see that maybe they're a predator, or maybe they're being disingenuous, and how you deal with that, because that could just straight up make you nervous, right? And if you're not noticing that about people, well, that's dangerous. You're going to get duped a lot, aren't you? To really, like, I can smell people. Like, I've seen my mom talk to a used car salesman, and because she spent years working around car salesmen, so he's basically making love to her. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Mom, you're not even using your senses at this point, right? Like, this guy just smells like cheap gasoline in the leather jacket. I called him the rhinestone cowboy behind his back. And it's like, this guy's obviously a cheap piece of shit. And I come out of the sort of the motorhome, whatever fifth wheel thing they have from the car lot. And his daughter's there. And I don't look very much. I don't remember really looking at her much at all. I felt like she wasn't part of this business. You know what I mean? She has her own separate life. She just happens to be here, right? The owner's daughter. So I didn't even look at her. But you don't have to look much at a girl to know general age and to smell her energy. And it's like, she seemed perfectly fine. And I was like, I don't want to touch you with this. Nothing should touch you about this. And I sort of did a quick little spell, like, even though one could hate your whole family based on the way this guy behaves, nothing should touch you. You are not like this man. You are not this man. You seem fine to me. Be fine. Be whatever you're doing, because she just seemed untouched by this man's despicable demeanor, which is good. And unfortunately, in the realm of abnormal psychology, it could be bad because, children don't respond to anything. There should be a whole level of abnormal psychology for children because children don't respond to the world the way we do. Period. They're better at everything they need when you need it the most, including denial and psychosis and endless forgiveness and compassion, really, and loyalty, right? The roots of all narcissism are starting there. If only because they're being tasked too much, even though they look perfectly normal, with what it takes to be okay with things that if they were me or you, they couldn't possibly abide. And just think of the stretch on the human imagination, on human ethics, on human philosophy and culture and religion. And that is a very imperfect little world. And people don't like to visit that realm because nothing that they want to be a certain way, even if to rein in your confidence and surety about what needs to be a certain way, means letting young people, for instance, be acknowledged for these enormous gray areas in the development of their brain, what pains, if any, they've sustained, which is probably a lot, and how much they're giving just to be able to get up and play video games all day and not lose their shit. And by the time they get to be 13 or 14 years old, really, you've got yourself future pill freaks, future alcoholics, future criminals, future, 5-day-a-week, people living in an office, people who will do a lot of things on one level maybe, and this, that, and like, what are the outcomes? Wouldn't you like to know? We've got so many people. Like, do people like this person when they get older? How many people in high school that you went with now have families and their children like them? And when interviewed discreetly, their children at 25 and 35 love and admire their parents still and don't have any mental disorders and aren't taking any medication, right? Oh, trying to think. Oh, maybe I went too far. That's okay. I think I'll go in somewhere along here. And so on and so on. You could just, you might say, oh God, you're just looking for bad things. It's like, I'm looking for knowledge. I started out earlier today saying there's a lot of knowledge that we really need that's in the bad things, right? Human beings live with a lot of suffering. As you get older, well, even before you get older and as you get older, you see how many people are estranged and how many relationships are really strained quite a bit. I learned only later in life that my dad's brothers used to tease him and bully him mercilessly. And that a lot of the laughter, probably hanging out with my family drinking, was at my father's expense. And that my father, probably when we went out, among his siblings especially, was really, really probably kind of nervous and just probably looking for some kind of approval in a way that transcended his children or his wife. That it really only needed it and wanted it from his family. So that a sense that he didn't need it from my mother and probably never got it and didn't care. And in fact, it was good he didn't care because my mother was never going to give it to him. And so you can see these realms mixing like spheres. And they're not happy spheres, they're not good spheres. But they had something to do with my father's face when he was having a glass of wine around his family. They had something to do with his body language. And that whatever my dad was doing, however comfortable he appeared, this was everything to him. And none of that had much to do with you, or me, as the case may be, right? He had the confidence of one who had himself been left to figure things out for himself. You ever go to a job and nobody trains you? They just like, nobody trained me, and they just threw me in the dish pit there, and I just figured it out. You know, hey, do this, hey, do this. And I was so terrified by this idea that there were jobs where you wouldn't really get fully trained. And you had to figure it out for yourself. I went to university, and when I went to the second year of university here, it was a job. And you needed to figure out things by yourself that I couldn't figure out. And I guess I learned that, look, I'm not meant for this. You know, even at the academic level, you had to kind of, no one was going to tell me what to do. And I couldn't do it. The only thing that really helped is that I didn't want to anymore. But it gave me a glimpse of like a level of hell. It's like in this place, people are asked to do things, and no one, when children are going to these schools, are told in advance that you're going to be expected to survive in a way that no one's going to tell you how. And it weeds people like me out of the system. I was basically weeded out without knowing it. Here I'm thinking, oh, you know, I'm quitting school, and so, no, I was weeded out by the system. Here I am thinking the system failed, you know, I was too smart. I tricked the system. You know, I didn't trick the system. The system weeded me out. You know, right? The system doesn't want me. Right? Right? If you can't be hypnotized by your workplace into sustaining the stress of a highly codependent environment, which is what you're getting, then nobody wants you. Because it's absolutely imperative to you being able to exist there without having a mental breakdown. Right? You have to enjoy codependent groups, right? You have to enjoy cults. And every office has its cult mentality, in the sense that, you know, the township is doing this, and our corporation is doing this, and we're really about something, and we're really doing this, we're really doing that, you know? And it's not even that having such ideas are proven all that bad in the study of cults, but when it comes to finding information, as George Orwell said, that confounds, defeats, or prevents a countervailing force to just how wonderful the purposes of the job group township really are, how incapable people are of hearing about that, how resistant, and how the group will tend to now exhibit very abnormal psychology to protect, in fact, their raison d'etre and their identification with it from any objection to it, even if the effect of it, and especially if the effect is injurious to others. And that there's no real reason not to correct it, but that the reasons that people find themselves so identified with it, irrespective of the company itself, are so desperate in nature that the origins of this desperation are in fact in the breakdown of the family, the loss of the mother, the loss of the father. Everything you might see in Star Wars or be comprehended by Darth Vader or the Black Madonna or the worst evil in human existence, all kind of part of the same thing. Hi. Hello. You're a friendly one. Hi. Hi. Nice. Thank you. I'm finally turning off onto the river. No idea where I am. Oh, what a fool for love that I walk among these trails and know them not. Men may smirk at me. They may sneer. They may say this man did nothing. His occupation was a bunch of syllables in an order that wouldn't even make a drive train to the next gas station. His logic is confused. His nattering is infused with too much THC. But at least I'm getting a good walk, I always say. Fresh air. You know, whatever you do, you never lose by walking in nature. How could I lose? I mean, am I getting cold? Am I getting sick? Am I doing crack in the woods with homeless people? No. I've got standards. Worst thing I do is crap in the woods. I mean, yes, you come here to Parksville, you might step in a pot of my crap one day. And you'd be lucky to do so. And I would be sparking in your head at that moment and saying, luck of the leprechauns to you. You managed to win one of my cow patties for your very own. Take some, take it to the lab. You might have reached genetic gold. You might find the cure for cancer in there. Every day, yeah. 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 Native men convinced me that that wasn't really a good example, but at all, that black satanic music in these Canadian wilds, like the Scandinavian wilds, where perhaps it took its origins, and very homosexual world, actually, as it happens, and bisexual world. But I think it's a little bit made up for show. It's kind of like the new sort of wear women's clothes on stage kind of thing. But that it was really suited to cold woodland places like these. Boreal forests, if you will. And it's like, yeah, maybe so. I kind of like the sound. I don't ever need to hear it again. I like the sound. Boom, hell, and demons. I like how some of the albums really are quite rich in that very Christian sense, like hell, demons, the infernal Lord speaks, and many legions of creatures listen as he says, "Who used all my peanut butter?" Oh, what an interesting rock I just found. Wow, it's got some like a geode of quartz inside of it. That is pretty cool. Lucky Landon, that's what they used to call me in my imaginary school at Hogwarts. It was a separate department where we made fun of Harry Potter and his friends for the ignorant ponces that they were. Oh. Rip your books to shreds, children. Don't be another brick in the wall. Don't be Mortor or Mordor. Just another brick in the wall. Then you watch a movie where Mordor is a bad place. Every orc has its Mordor. Another brick in the orc. I might be making some progress, people. We might be getting somewhere. You don't know if it's true. There's a rumor that surfaced on the internet about me that women might be interested to know that my penis is actually elephantine, as I've claimed. There are pictures of it gleaned from different Photoshop programs with lots of enlarging. You know, if you get a good enough picture of my dick and I enlarge it, it could look quite big. I'm like, I could send it to someone, like my pen pal from Syria, whose name is Janini. She's 18 and a half years old, and she thinks it's an actual elephant. I told her I'm a zoologist. I'm just kidding. She's had it fabricated into a toy stuffed elephant and now sleeps with it at night. Oh, that's gross. But it's creative. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm getting a wind. Let's get out here. I just want to go see the river. Or at least somewhere near it and sit down. Oh, look. This looks like malachite. That is very interesting stone. Well, there's no people out here. The gentleman actually said that you can expect rainfall today, so I guess there's that to look forward to. But that'll be nice, because I actually know a log down there I can sit under, and I can feel small smattering as I speak. But there's a log here between I could sit. An area drop would touch me. And I might even start speaking normally again if I had a mind to. But Laksamasi, I dare say, prevailing upon my own noggin at this point, is certain countervailing tendencies, angels and humors, if you will, would bring me into a quagmire of shambolic constipation. That's actually funny. You're actually funny, man. Who knew? I think many people know. They know down deep. They know how funny I am. Sometimes they think about me and smile, but they don't know why. It's not just because my penis is incredibly small. It is. I actually got a microscope to look at it. It's microscopic. But to bacteria, it's huge. They worship it in the bacteria world. They're like, "Oh, mighty Lord, but there is one larger than me. No, my Lord, yes. And one day he shall come all over you." Look, here it is. Quick, wave it in front of them. "But my Lord, you predicted its coming. You must be greater than the mighty penis. Your size, though diminutive by comparison, is yet larger in our hearts." Thank you, my people. Here's a tissue. The crabs in my pubic hair are clicking and going, "Nice, nice." The crabs in my pubic hair. A new book of poetry. Here we go. Hear my things sing. Oh, there's another one. Hear my nature. Hey, 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 my nature. You don't mess with my rice-a-roni. Hey, 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 please don't mess with my rice-a-roni. Oh, Lordy. Oh, God, it's swimming depth. It's swimming depth in here. Oh, there's a vulture. Nice. I love to see you, friend. There's some people sitting. Oh, look at. The vulture is here. There were some people standing there when I don't think they could hear me. I was like, the crabs are clicking. Don't think they knew what I was talking about. And now, in this corner, a man whose verbal capacities rival that of Muhammad Ali on crack. And in the other corner, another aspect of himself that's not quite as brilliant. Go. Well, can I have a question first? What is this all about? I'm feeling really uncomfortable because nobody's really told me or explained anything. And it sounds to me like I'm fighting myself, which I don't know, that's creepy. So I'm just going to sit down and have some Valium. Landon, what do you say to that? Oh, you coward. And yet you're a part of me, like that other part of Captain Kirk in the early Star Trek series. I need you. I'll rape you if I have to. Become a part of me. Somehow. Daddy, you're hurting me. Okay. That's not going to go anywhere. I can't see that being good for me in any way. Art must at least be good for me. There's a hole, Daddy. Go to the hole. It's Mommy's hole. I'm not born yet. Go in there. Go to that warm, deep place. You know it feels good, Daddy. Look, I'm touching a part of your brain that's going to give you an orgasm. There you go. Oh, God, that was the best one, Gloria. The best one ever. I know. I feel like new life is growing on me. Sure, yeah, right. I'd have to get a couple raises if we wanted that, hey? Good thing I'm wearing that super duper new condom you gave me. What a pearl. That's its name, Pearl condoms. They've been proven 89.5% effective. Wait, 89.4. They've adjusted it. There's 200,000 new children born out of wedlock last year, thanks to Pearl. Spreading families and legs apart since 1856. The Jaws of Life, another product we have, to help remove children from your womb when they become like a ghastly tumor in your otherwise beautiful and fashionable existence. Tumors are us is also a lovely idea for a company. You've heard about people trying to fight cancer? Well, we're trying to bring it back. It's good for business. You don't know what I feel. You don't know what I think unless I tell you. And even then, you're not sure. And that presents what we call a conundrum of certain dire prognostications, which I should like to slip from the pearly lips of dawn, Shaddai may, once upon a time, and received unto myself these words that was spake unto me in that bygone time. Though things that fall from trees are pretty, the wind can also push things onto you. The heavens, though light and lofty, also can exert their pressures upon us. Hunger, as we call them, deep in our bodies. That we should one day emerge into a new and glorious world. And it would be partly of earth and partly of heaven. And it would be exactly the way it should always have been. And we should forgive ourselves enough for such an imminent and preeminent wonder to emerge within our breast. And amidst all of our labors, that they should be both fulfilled and finally to triumph not over our flesh, nor our flesh over those labors which we have prescribed for ourselves. And many times more those labors, that their costs are multiplied by the hour. Yet we should rest in some way that our children should find. And we should say to them that you will find such rest as we have provided the means for you to find. And you will search out this meaning with every hunger which heaven should have ignited in your breast and in your belly. And not so many hurts that hunger itself should only be to bid itself to some quiet, solitary way. And that it should be unknown to your fellow man. And you should be doomed to such an isolation which no one should be forced to bear. That the sympathies in your own breast and your own way should be so foreign to your fellow man that they would be not worth uttering. And that is never to be the case, my children. Never, and not a moment, and never should you believe it. You do not believe it now. Surely, if you feel the warmth of your own blood, such a thing could not be abided as the truth. And no truth will lay there where such a foul lie is abided. Wow, my grandpa would be proud. It's like, you sound like a church man. You've been doing some of that church thing, haven't you? You've been sniffing that church glue in the church pew. I have been sniffing that glue lately, Petri dish. By the way, wonderful name, Petri. Yes, Petri dish. I am a dish. I am a dish. This is my Indian friend, Ayamadish. You may put out your cigarettes in my head. Ayamadish, unlikely. This is my son, Soap Dish. That is a bit racist, I'm sorry, I guess. Oh, yeah. I like Indians. You know, there's a new Indian restaurant near, and I want to go there with my mom. It says Heritage Indian Cuisine. So that's got to be good. Come here. They should have Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Johnny Knox, a small boy that lives in southern Arkansas with his mom, Kate, and his older brother, Ned. He enjoys Pokemon, long walks down to the TV room, and his mom's catalogs. If he was smart enough and old enough, he'd probably say world peace. World peace. Don't you think that the people smart enough to rule the world, just on the grounds that they regulate the world to some such degree, if not complete control, right? Don't you think that by now they could have regulated the world into a good deal more peace and a good deal less violence? I mean, come on. We ask a lot of each other. We ask a lot. A lot is asked of us. Like, can we not ask this question? That's an eagle. Hey. As soon as I was saying the crabs in my pubic hair are clicking, there was I went behind this log over here and there was just two people standing there. I was like, I didn't have the guts to look at them. I was just like, hello. think there's two of them. I think there's two eagles, maybe. This is fun, eh? This is fun, eh? Good Canadian way to have fun, ain't it? Hey, good Canadian way to have fun, eh? I wish I was a red person, you know? But still me, you know? And a red man. I think I'd make a really good red man, you know? Because they're so jovial in the most wonderful way. Like, it's the wonderful, energy. You can't stereotype them like, oh, you know, but just compared to white people, I don't know, something, it's strange to me, but I know it's better than me. You know, it's strange to me, I know it's better than me. And I think that white people feel that red people are strange, can be strange to them, but also better than them. But not in a way that's meant to make you feel bad. They're just more natural people. They've come closer to like the tree of life. It's like Native people are like, if the tree of life, you know, people change in terms of how deeply rooted or how closely they lived with the tree of life. The Native people live closer to the tree of life, you know. They are like the fruit of the tree of life. Their lives are fruitful, and it's just that society has tortured the hell out of that fruitfulness. If not Native people themselves, who, like a lot of us, and especially like a lot of Native people, have to work their way out of that noose, you know. Like this world wants to get close. Like predators want to get close to us, and what I've learned as a white man, because I get preyed on by white people, is to like learn how to be nervous, to be around a predator or a sick person in any way, and know that they have boundaries. Because you want to like, hey, fuck off, and it's like that can be the worst thing you do, and just know that they actually can only go to put all your energy into saying like, you got to pull in like you're this far but no farther, pretty close, because they will do things that you wouldn't normally let anyone else do. Right? I mean, like I'm sure if someone came up to you and kicked sand in your face, you might like, hey, but they will do everything but that, energetically, right? And then everything that makes me really sad is that because you but not really clean. We're now going to smoke a little bit more marijuana. Don't be afraid if I get a little maid. And we smoke some more marijuana. Marijuana. I think I'm gonna smoke some marijuana. I'll have to get up soon and go to the moon and get some more marijuana. Lisa is an eye. It could be the star Sirius is an eye, so the Mona Lisa is the one eye. The Mona. So the Mona Lisa basically is money. The Mona Lisa is money. Right? Money is in the Mona Lisa. Money is in, the book of Genesis. There's money in there. There's money in the demon in the garden. There's money in the demon of demon Eve. The word demon is in the Bible. It's demon Eve. I'm fascinated, not just at a literary level, but just in my day-to-day reality, I guess, in a way. What is the darkest thing in the world? How does the greatest evil touch me? And can I notice it? Can we do anything about it? All that kind of stuff, like conspiracies, 9/11, whatever. What is the darkest thing about this world? And if we finally find the darkest thing, will that kind of free us a bit? People would say, Christians would say, oh, it's just human greed or sinfulness, or a Buddhist could say, well, it's just your self-seeking mind, your self-identification with life. And someone else who follows Eckhart Tolle would say you just have to be in the moment, and your pain body keeps you out of the moment. You got to just ignore your pain body. And psychiatrists would say, you've got to, participate in society. Oh, I honor you, mighty eagle. Oh, I honor you. Whoa. They both came out to say hi. I haven't seen them in months, really. I saw one a little while ago, but I haven't seen them that close. We'll have to get walking soon. It's just a cold tendency out here by the river that you don't want to get too much of. But Isa, speaking of Isa, is the cold. So Isa is cold. It's the ice bridge. The I, the letter I. Isa. Right. So the Mona Lisa is the one eye. We're on a roll today. I've always wanted to do that. I threw my marijuana down and it went right to the very edge of the river, like with it like half a centimeter to spare. That's fucking cool, man. Just smoking there now like an old steamship. The letter R. Get you smoking away. May the smoke go in the direction of the great eagles and be good. May help all the wishes here come true of nature and heaven and earth. The wishes of heaven and earth come true, please. That this man may have some say in the matter. Hail Satan. Hail Mother Earth. Hail Satania. I want to live in one wonderful reality, one day after the other, with my mother and all who should see fit to favor us with their respect. I could meet a woman who loved my mother as much as I did. That would be one person to do. I can't find one woman to love me besides my mother. I can't find a woman to love me. Who loves me? Who loves Landon? That's the question today. Who loves Landon? Landon's gonna light another joint because he is Landon.